Who do you think won the debate? Why was the birther controversy brought up after Trump ended it? Why were no questions addressed to Hillary about emails or the Clinton Foundation? Did Hillary come off as personable and human? Did this change your opinion of either candidate? What opportunities did Trump miss, if any? What damage was, let's say, inflicted upon either side? I watched it carefully, as all of you did. I could only take an hour of it, and I turned it off. I couldn't take it. I had to go outside and take a breath of air. As the government media complex gives us Lester Holt to moderate the debate between Trump and Clinton. This could be the biggest debate ever seen. It's monumentally important to the future of the nation. A third Obama term would devastate the nation, and that is what Hillary will give us. Lester Holt interviewed her in January, asking her mostly softball questions. Well, who is Lester Holt, and why was he selected? Lester Holt was named anchor months after Brian Williams embarrassed the network with his lies about his time in Iraq and being at Hurricane Katrina. Remember they threw him off the air? Well, Holt was put in as the interim anchor, finally getting his position official in June of 2015. But why Holt? He was a second or third tier player on the never-watched MSNBC. How did he rise to this level so suddenly? Was it his qualifications? Or could it have been that NBC thought a person of color filling that position would be the right thing to do to drive people of color to vote for Hillary? This is from yesterday's monologue, the one many of you missed. And there's only another 2 paragraphs. Then the question of picking him to moderate this all-important first debate for NBC. Why Lester Holt? Why not the host of Meet the Press, Up Chuck Todd? Could this also play to race? Donald Trump has been running a strong campaign, reaching out to the African-American community. And in response, Hillary Clinton has gone scorched earth on him, trying to paint him as a racist. Lester Holt may be put there as the foil to aid in that agenda. He could be put there to drive up African-American viewership, especially in this time of more police shootings and riots in Charlotte. Finally, I concluded as follows. And it's an opportunity to triangulate Trump. If he goes after Hillary, he's attacking a woman. If he goes after the moderator, he's a racist. The fix is in. The question is this: will Donald Trump fall into the trap? That was yesterday's monologue, which Hillary knew how to trigger Trump and drag him off balance. She, no doubt, had some of the world's best psychologists advising her before the debate. And they knew exactly what triggers to use to get Trump to take the bait. And I'll give you an example. When she said to him that he inherited $14 million from his father, she knew that he would take the bait and defend his father. Why? Because he has character and she doesn't. She's a lowlife with no character. She has no character whatsoever. He, on the other hand, is a narcissist. He's macho. And he has great pride in himself and his family. So he fell right into her trap. And instead of firing back at her by saying, excuse me, what about the obscene fees that you and your husband charged for speeches and pay for play at the Clinton Foundation, and going over Dolt, whatever Dolt would have said, and then saying, and by the way, Hillary, who would you leave your sizable fortune to? Someone other than Chelsea? And then write over her again and say, I mean the fortune that you and your husband made while you were Secretary of State, steering big donors by doing them favors and awarding them huge State Department contracts, Hillary. Answer that question. Who are you leaving the money to? But he didn't. He fell into her trap. And he started to answer her. And the minute he started to answer her, defend his father, he was on the defensive. That's original to the savage nation. I heard no discussion of borders last night, no discussion of language, and no discussion of social issues. Zero. Right off the bat, she triggered him by attacking his father and his inheritance, as I played for you before. And he did take the bait, and he did defend his father, and he did so because he has character, and they knew he has character. And the vermin of the left who have no character, they're spineless Salenter, it's all of them, knew that they can get a man of character to respond by attacking his character and attacking his father and his family. He fell right into her trap. And again, instead of firing back about the obscene fees that Hillary and her husband, Bill Clinton, charged for speeches, he could have said, wait a minute, why don't you tell us what you did with the $650,000 fee you got for speaking before X, Y, and Z? He could have counterattacked, but he didn't. He could have said, and who would you leave your fortune to? The fortune you made by pay and play at the State Department. Would you leave it to someone other than Chelsea and your lovely granddaughter? He didn't say that, did he? Once they see the damage that has been done by these progressive, socialist, Islamist vermin, they may just think twice about the woman that they saw last night, who will not only continue President Obama's disastrous policies, but she will make them even worse. And you know, there was not one question last night from Lester Dolt about immigration. There was not one statement from Lester Dolt about the obscene amounts of money that Hillary steered to the Clinton Foundation. Is there media bias? There's not even a question about media bias. And so what can we do about it? We can vote. That's all we can do about it. Every 4 years or so, we think that we're not living in a dictatorship. Every 4 years, the power players who run the whole world let us think that we have relative freedom in this republic. Every 4 years, they give we the little people a little chance to express ourselves, and then we fall back into the fascism that is known as consumerism. Thank you, Master Soros. You rotten, stinking emigre. You rotten emigre, the puppet master, the peasant avante, as they used to say in the Godfather movies. You know, someone is pulling the strings. All the billionaires of the world seem to back Hillary. Now, why would billionaires back Hillary if she's so much for the poor? Why would billionaires around the world back Hillary if she's for the poor? And for the poor African American and the poor Mexican. Why would the billionaires back her? Because you see, you fools, she's not for the poor or the African American. She is for the billionaires and the millionaires that she bashes. Master of puppets. Trump scandals asked about at the debate included, write it down because you haven't seen it anywhere yet. I'm not reading a website. Which scandals was he asked about at the debate by Lester Dolt? I guess they got Lester Dolt a pair of glasses for the debate last night to add, I guess, a look to him that'll give him a little IQ value. Dolt asked him about tax returns, birther conspiracy, stop and frisk, the presidential look, a race discrimination lawsuit, his stance on the Iraq War. What scandals did Lester Dolt not ask Hillary about? Her thousands upon thousands of deleted secret emails, the money sent to the Clinton Foundation on a pay-for-play platform, her Iraq war vote, her own health issues, refugees, immigration, and Benghazi. There was not one mention of a terrorist attack by Lester Dolt, a member in good standing of the government media complex. And again, I'll bring it up. Last weekend, what happened? What happened in this country last weekend? Do you remember there was an assassination of 4 women at a mall outside of Seattle? A man went in with an assault rifle to a Macy's and executed 4 women, shot them dead, ran away, was found the next day. While they were looking for him, men like Lester Dolt were putting out the false flag information that the shooter at the Seattle mall was an Hispanic male. Hispanic male. Be on the lookout for an Hispanic male mass murderer. Hispanic male. I thought it was odd since they would never identify anyone but a white male in general. Why were they suddenly saying Hispanic male, I asked myself. Well, unfortunately, once again, Detective Savage was correct. You see, the shooter was not an Hispanic male. The executioner was, in fact, a Muslim Turkish immigrant. That's right, a Muslim Turkish immigrant who was a Hillary supporter. Now, Lester Dolt didn't note that yesterday. He didn't say, Mr. Trump, how do you think your wall will protect us against terrorism? Mrs. Clinton, how do you think your open borders policy will make America more unsafe? He didn't say that, did he? Of course not, because Lester Dolt was put there to do the bidding of the puppet masters. It's that simple. That's where we are in American history today. But let's go back to the actual triggers that she used as a result of deep psychological advance notice by some of the most devious minds on the planet. in her training before the debate. For those of you not in the business, the glitches, when the glitches occurred during my show, I was in the middle of discussing side effects of levodopa, and some of them include falling blood pressure upon standing, psychosis, confusion, dizziness. Then I looked up the side effects of an extended release capsule of levodopa, which is used for Parkinson's, and I stumbled upon this side effect: impulse control disorders, dyskinesia. I said, oh boy. And then, of course, the show was intermittently interrupted. I wouldn't say by the CIA, I would say by just technical errors. Oh, my friends. Lester Holt triggered him, and then Hillary responded with the $14 million thing. Robert, let's play clip 7.
I think we come at it from somewhat different perspectives. I understand that. You know, Donald was very fortunate in his life, and that's all to his benefit. He started his business with $14 million borrowed from his father, and he really believes that the more you help wealthy people, the better off we'll be, and that everything will work out from there. I don't buy that. I have a different experience. My father was a small businessman.
Stop right there. Oh, shut up. Your father was a stumble-bum drunk who beat your mother. Let's start with that. Okay, but let's not go into that. All he had to say was, really, and tell us about your daughter's $10 million apartment in Manhattan. Where'd that money come from? I mean, I would have fired back without waiting for my turn and let Dolt's glasses break on his face. And then I'd say, what about the tens of hundreds of millions of dollars that you steered to your husband's foundation? Who are you going to leave that to, Hillary? You going to leave it to the Black Lives Matter? Or are you going to leave it to your daughter and granddaughter? Who do you think you're fooling? Stop playing Miss Nice Lady. And you know, her face was that. Look, I don't like her to begin with. I don't care that she's a woman. I love women. I like strong women. I think they're great. This is not a strong woman. This is a monster. This is a monster who's been tested and tried. We've known who she is for 30 years. This is not something new. You can't dust off something like this. You can't brush it off with cyanide. Let me tell you what she is. She is worse than you could imagine. She's a hypocrite. That's the worst part of her. Here she is attacking him on inheritance. Who is she going to leave her inheritance to, the money that she acquires to? Her daughter and granddaughter. No, she's going to give it away to Black Lives Matter and to Telemundo. Speaking of Telemundo, that phony channel, and that idiot who works for them, Jorge Ramos. You know Jorge Ramos? Jorge Ramos of Mexico? Jorge Ramos, who attacked Trump repeatedly. Remember Jorge Ramos, who would come out every time Trump said something and call him a racist? How come Jorge Ramos has not said anything about the media calling the mass murderer Hispanic when he was a Muslim Turkish immigrant? Where are you, Jorge? And how about you, Telemundo? How come you have nothing to say about that, Telemundo? Huh? Hey, Meng, how come you're not saying anything, Meng? Hey, Meng. Hey, Jorge. Hey, Jorge. How come you're not saying anything, Meng? Got nothing to say? Cat got your tongue, Jorge? So they're all liars. They're all hypocrites. What else is new under the sun? Champion for America's borders, language, and culture.